Tyler Dunn of Go Long, which is, I believe, his page, the name of his page. He reports on the National Football League, columnist, quoting unnamed former. Those are the dangerous words, aren't they?
Those are dangerous.
I know. Former personnel executive with the Cowboys.
Okay.
Saying, let me get this right. By the way, the column's head is, "What in the hell are the Dallas Cowboys doing?" is the name of Tyler Dunn's column.
I've asked myself
What
that
are they
multiple
doing?
times.
It's crazy what's going on, one former Cowboys personnel says, and it doesn't ever really change. Saying at one point of McCarthy, Mike McCarthy, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, he's doing it the best he can. Some of the people I've talked to have said that he's getting fed up with it a little bit.
Oh, that's fun.
Now, of course, that's the juicy part. An unnamed executive saying he's talking to other people who are saying this of Mike McCarthy. So it's kind of like
Third.
well, it's like a third. It's a third of a Kevin Bacon.
Yeah,
you know,
right,
you're
right,
two
right.
removed here.
Right.
So, but all I will say is that if this is true, that he's fed up a little bit, the only words I have in response to that are, can you blame him? Can you blame a guy who has to go home and look his family in the face and say to them, I don't know about next year. I don't know about 2025. I don't know what's going on. And if they push back, anybody at home, just in any way say, but wait a minute. I mean, didn't you win the division last year? I mean, didn't you, aren't you making the playoffs? I don't know if they'd ask that question if a veteran of the coaching game, because they kind of already know the answer to that question, that no, results-oriented business or whatever. But how many head coaches in the NFL go into their final year of a contract? Not many. I don't recall the last one, quite frankly.
Jason
And
Garrett.
even in Pittsburgh, PA, where it's been a long time since they've won a playoff
Jason
game
Garrett.
at all, they made sure Tomlin had a 3-year deal going into this season. And then there's the question of the quarterback wondering if he's going to get paid, and the wide receiver, and the top pass rusher, yada, yada, yada. We've covered this over and over again. But that is part and parcel of what happens when you go, if you will, all in, like the Dallas Cowboys have done that. So Jerry Jones has got to know that it will make a coach fed up when he doesn't get any contractual roadway after this year. And then the most important players on the team are waiting for contracts themselves. And I know some of you out there might be like, well, then guess what? He should have beaten the Packers. Yep. But this is just such a wild sequence of events,
that
man.
little shady smirk you gave me right there when you said that, I don't appreciate that at all.
It's not that.
I saw
Oh,
it.
This is all the truth. I'm not seeing anything wrong. That a coach needs to show results, and players who want to get second and third generationally enriching contracts have to show results.
Yeah, exactly.
But the rest of the NFL is like paying guys who have shown results-ish.
So the Cowboys are doing it the right way, Brockman.
Or they,
right?
But if they're doing
Hold
it,
that thought.
or they're doing it in the way
Hold that thought.
that may ruffle a few feathers now and come home to roost in the season when things begin to break down eventually. And we will see what way works and what it does not.
Mm-hmm.
But the way that Chris Brockman has been saying, let everybody play it out.
Play it out.
It doesn't matter. If the results aren't there, play it out. The Cowboys are endeavoring that right now.
Yeah, so you come on our bandwagon then, Chris. You want me to join the Celtics? Maybe we'll do a swap here.
Can we just hold this energy?
Oh, my
Well,
bad.
because Stephen A. Smith is coming up, or
No,
you have this for
I get you.
top
Chris.
of hour 3 is Overreaction Monday?
Let's just hold the energy.
Well, how about this then? How about this question? For somebody who has been pounding the table over there over and over again about don't pay people until the results are there. Do not go ahead and pay for future hopes. Do not go ahead
It's not
and pay
hoper, it's poker.
and pay on assumed future results based on past flashes of brilliance.
Or just projections or what you think
Wouldn't
could
you?
happen?
But not everybody could be like Tom Brady and come out of the box at year 2 and show you the way it's done. And then
Yeah,
be
again,
generationally great for.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, with Joe Boo. Joe Boo's right there. We can flip it back so you can see my buddy Joe Boo. Joe Boo is chilling in the house right there, just maxing and relaxing. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally, and I mean literally, does not work. So, I'm sitting here thinking about something right now that, Rich, I didn't catch it when I first listened to that clip. But we know that what's going around right now in the Dallas Cowboys blogosphere, on all of the talking shows and everything, because we are in the football desert right now, okay? It's dried up. There's nothing going on right now. There's nothing going on. So people are gravitating to anything that they can talk of. And, of course, the football gods, Thomas, they are back at my house. They're back at home up there where they belong. I don't travel with them. They're too valuable. I don't want to break them. My luck, I'll be in a car accident, and I'll be okay, and then I hurt the football gods, okay? So I'm not risking that. I'm keeping them safe there at the man cave, okay? So don't worry. Marcus, we're still splitting. Okay. Let me say shout out to Joanne Gonzalez. What's up, JoJo? How are you doing? I see Philadelphia is banging out there. There's Chef David Wiley. David, what's going on, man? I've been sitting there thinking about Mom's Spaghetti there, and need to do a parody about that and stuff. Cole's Cowboys in the house. What's going on? I'm going to be the one that let's analyze this for a second. If you take a job from the Dallas Cowboys and you're going to work for Jerry Jones, what are you expecting? What are you expecting if you're working for Jerry Jones? What is the thing that they've always said about with Jason Garrett? That he's calling plays, he's interfering. Famously, Bill Parcells, what did Bill Parcells say as a quote? If you want me to cook the meal, let me do the shopping, right? You make that statement because he's saying, hello, I need to pick the players. You stop picking the players. Stop meddling, right? Isn't that the case? Do you honestly believe that Mike McCarthy, having gone through the first year where Dak got injured, they were 6-9 or 6-10. Excuse me, I'm not doing math right. 6-10, missed the playoffs by one game, mind you. Looked like ass. Defense was historically the worst defense that they've ever had. And you don't think that Jerry Jones was, all up in his shit right there? The next year, losing to the 49ers and things, and he literally said after the end of the season, they seemed nervous. And then the following year, losing to San Francisco again, and the last play you got Zeke Elliott there playing center. You don't think that Jerry Jones got into his ass all those times? That he wasn't fed up about that? Because, let's be honest here. That goes with the territory. Right? It's kind of like getting married. Like my buddy Dan Saleo says. He says, you know what? I've never loved anybody anymore, and I've never hated anybody so much as he does his wife. Because, you get fed, sometimes in your relationship, do you ever get fed up? Man, I'm fed up. I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this shit. Okay? that's a normal thing. That's a normal thing. But we keep hearing all these things that, oh, well, he's in the last year of his contract. I'm going to say, if I'm in the last, okay, if I'm fed up with the situation, why would I want to stay? I keep hearing all the talking heads saying he's fed up. He wants another year on his contract. He wants a guarantee. He's fed up. Well, wait a minute. If I'm fed up, I probably want to get out of it. And at the moment, here's what you have to say. If you're Mike McCarthy, right now, you've turned around the narrative. You have done what Bill Parcells didn't do. You've done what Wade Phillips didn't do. My wife sent you the tracking number. That must not be for me. Lady Libra in the house. What's up, Lady Libra? How are you doing? Shout out to Lady Libra. You've done what Jason Garrett didn't do. Jason Garrett didn't have back-to-back 12-win seasons or back-to-back playoff seasons. You've gone through and people look at it's kind of like when we were talking with Leo yesterday, and he was talking about the soldiers coming back from war. And I'm not trying to equate and say that, what Mike McCarthy's done is going to war. But damn, bro, you're a veteran. You went into that shit. You came out the other side. You did better than most. Was it Super Bowl wins? No. But it's not like everybody else is making Super Bowls and you weren't. You went from a 7-win and a 6-win season in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. People looked at you and said, nah, bro, you're past your time. You done gone through and you done taken Dak Prescott, taken over the play calling, and got Dak Prescott damn near an MVP. I still will debate that, MVP is a regular season award. At game time, you learned to appreciate Leo after that idiot that you had on your show, I'm sure. Yeah, that guy was, he was crazy. He was cray-cray. It was just like, man, just mute his mic, man. Just mute his mic. But I think that this is one of those things, when you read the article, this is a guy who's used to cover Mike McCarthy. He's not an insider with the Cowboys. He's not there, where he got some inside information. It's all speculation. And if I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm happy. Okay, you know what? I'll take my $7 million this year, go through this shit, and then I'll get another job elsewhere. If Josh McDaniels can get hired twice, I think Mike McCarthy can get another job. I really think he can. And I think this is blown up a little bit more than what it really needs to be. I mean, seriously. You can't all of a sudden feel like Mike McCarthy is now fed up, because nothing's changed from what we were doing last year. Now, here's what's kind of interesting to me. What they said. Rich Eisen said. He said, "You don't pay for what you're expecting in the future. You pay for what you did in the past." Right? Isn't that what he said in that? Do I need to run it back? So somebody explain something to me then. Explain this to me. People say don't pay Dak Prescott. Don't pay Dak. Okay, I got it. Because you're saying don't pay for what they did in the past. 3 years in the playoffs don't count. Okay. I understand what you're saying on there. But if that's the case, then why did Trevor Lawrence get $55 million a year? I'll wait. I mean, seriously. Explain to me if what he's just said is, we're not paying for what you might do. Yeah, we're paying for what you did. Tell me what Trevor Lawrence has done. And by all means, listen, I ain't mad. They always say don't talk about another man's money and stuff. But I'm sorry. Trevor Lawrence autograph signing started out at $275 for a signature. $275. That's shout out to lovely Linda. What's up, Linda? How are you doing? Can somebody explain to me how Trevor Lawrence's signature is as valuable as Emmitt Smith's? I'm on my bird section accounting working. The bird section. I'm taking it you're an Eagle fan? Chris May, think. Good quarterbacks are getting paid. It's what happens all the time. Logan Motorsports. Shout out. I haven't seen you in a while. Logan, hope everything's good. I'm going to play devil. If Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy finish the season, both leave and go to another team. And that's kind of like what most people are thinking, that, you know, if you're Dak, I mean, honestly, what's your rush if you're Dak? Seriously. Why do I need to hurry up and get this money? I've got plenty of money right now. I can reevaluate all this at the end of the season. And sitting here knowing that Jordan Love and Tua are both about to get paid. Pay me now or pay me later. Doesn't matter. You know, I'm going to get paid somehow unless something catastrophic. The Cody Show Sports. What's up, man? How are you doing? I was sick to my stomach for all the years we didn't win the chip, but when the Eagles won, it took another level when the Joneses did absolutely nothing. The Joneses will never like our fans do. Yeah. So, I don't get it. Okay? I don't get it. Oh, now, and mind you, I don't know if you guys remember, back in April, we had heard that Mike McCarthy had hired an agent. Don Yee, I think it is, who was like Tom Brady's agent. He's Sean Payton's agent, Julian Edelman's. So he's got representation. So he's planning on a future with or without the Cowboys. Either Cowboys pay him or maybe somebody else pays him. But he knows somebody is going to pay him. And so here's what I understand. Okay, for everybody out there that says Dak's not the one, that Dak's a choker, that Mike McCarthy is a terrible coach, right? I'm trying to understand how, when Mike Farello has his off-season rankings, he's got the Cowboys at 16. When Nick Wright and Colin Cowherd talk about their quarterbacks, that Dak Prescott's not in the top 15, and you say that the Cowboys haven't done anything, how is it everybody expects Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy to win the Super Bowl if you look at the team and say Jerry Jones has let them down? I don't get that. I wish somebody could explain that to me, because this is Mike Farello's ranking going into 24. Chiefs, 49ers, Lions, Ravens, Eagles at 5, Packers at 6, Bills at 7, Bengals at 8, Buccaneers at 9, Texans at 10, Dolphins at 11, Browns at 12, Rams at 13, Steelers at 14, Chargers at 15, and Cowboys at 16. Dad, if you're watching, excuse my language. The fuck are you talking about? How are you going to have the Chargers and the Steelers and all? Come, dude, these teams didn't even sniff. Are you serious? It's a Walker Wade party. What's up, Walker Wade? Shout out to Walker Wade. It's not a party until Wade jumps in the house. Shout out to you, buddy. We're going to be giving away, boom, we'll do this one on Friday. Any super chats that we get today or during the week, on Friday we'll be giving away Drew Pearson autographed piece. And I'm giving that one away because I forgot to bring the Charles Haley and the Michael Irvin one. I forgot and left. I'm sorry. They're back at the house. So we'll be giving those away. So I'm just trying to understand, because we got the fans that look and say, Dak, you suck. At the same time, you're saying, Jerry Jones, you're not doing anything to help him win. I don't get it. Johnny Duncan Sr., what's up? Bucks. Yeah, let me read it again. Hold on. I mean, I understand the Chiefs and the 49ers, okay? The Super Bowl champions, the 49ers. Because what always happens typically is if you were a playoff team the year before, they automatically think you're going to be a playoff team the following year, except if you're the Cowboys. Right? So Chiefs, 49ers, Lions, Ravens, Eagles, Packers, Bills were all playoff teams last year. Bengals, nope. Buccaneers, of course. They got Buccaneers at 9. Okay? And you say, okay, Buccaneers, they kicked the Eagles' ass. Maybe you should look and say the Buccaneers might be better than the Eagles. I'm just saying. They did split the games. Regular season, the Eagles squeaked by. The playoffs, the Buccaneers blew the doors off of them. Texans, I can say Texans and Dolphins. Okay. Browns and Cowboys, we were really about the same last year. Rams a playoff team. But Steelers, Chargers? Seriously? Steelers and Chargers. So how are we? Coyote, shout out, sign me up for that giveaway. Coyote, got you covered. Boom. That's where I'm kind of like, are you serious? Hey, hello, Mark. I will be at the grounds at Cowboys camp in Oxnard. I can send video clips and updates. Please let me know. RV111. Okay. All right. I'm going to be there too, probably around the 4th of August through the playoff game. The preseason game. Through the preseason game. That's just my question here. I don't think that anything has changed as far as Mike McCarthy, that all of a sudden this has come to a head. Mike McCarthy is, ready to just walk out. That's not going to happen. And the other part of this is you could give him another year, but that doesn't mean that he ain't going to get fired. If you don't believe that Nick Sirianni, who has a contract that's beyond this year, that his ass isn't on the hot seat and can be definitely fired at the end of the year, you got another thing coming. Now, I want to bring this up because this was kind of crazy to me when I heard it today. This is kind of interesting, to say the least. So listen to Dak Prescott getting pumped up by a person that I never thought I would hear pump him up like this and trash Jalen Hurts, or should I say Tio Hurts. Marcus, isn't the Raiders period is going to be Saints or Rams? Well, Curtis, here the thing that's funny is every year half of the teams that were playoff teams the next year aren't. You could look at, the year before, Seattle and the Giants were playoff teams, and they weren't the next year. So to automatically assume that if you were a playoff team last year that you're going to be this year is not exactly a safe assumption. And it seems like a lot of the talking heads always follow the same patterns that they did the year before that seem to be always wrong. But this was kind of crazy. And I wish I actually had Game Time on here because I still like getting the pulse of Eagle fans. Dallas Cowboy for life. Roger that. Roger, you are entered into that drawing. Roger that. Got you covered. Appreciate the super chat. Let's listen to Dan for a second here.
JM says no. Kyle says no.
Kyle says no. Okay.
I wish I knew the answer. Okay.
I'm going to take it.
304, I'm going to ask you this one.
I'll take him off the screen, but you can listen.
Prescott.
on Dak Prescott.
I play my option out. Once the season starts, I'm betting on myself. If Kirk Cousins can get $48 million,
$48 million.
I'll get 58. Let's just play this for a second.
He's going to get more than 50.
If you were to put Jalen Hurts or Dak Prescott on the open market, who'd get more money? And who'd have more suitors? Dak or Jalen? What quarterback fits today's passing game? Dak or Jalen? What offenses are set up for Jalen?
This is kind of this gets to be kind of deep here, guys.
2. He wouldn't have a big market. Dak would have a massive market. You know why? Dak's a passer.
Oops, wrong one.
Jalen is more set up for RPO. You guys say it. Dak Prescott would be a bigger free agent and have more suitors for his style of play, because teams are set up for that style of play, than they are for Hurts's. How many teams have all the components that Hurts has in the league? 2? Eagles and Niners? Like maybe if he went to where? The Browns? That could look good. By the way, I'm going to be objective here. The Browns? That could look good.
Mm-hmm.
Where else? The
He's
Rams?
literally saying Hurts is garbage.
That's not his style. Sean McVay, he likes drop back and deep throws. I don't think he fits in LA. Steelers? That could be. Run the ball. Najee? Good old line. Better improving old line. All right. DC? With the Dotson kid? And the Terry McLaurin? That could look decent.
Okay.
Okay. The Giants? Absolutely not. Giants have no run game. Giants have no wide receivers.
They got no
have
offensive
nothing.
line.
That'd be a train wreck. The Colts? That could look, yeah. But all these places Dak would have, they'd have first option with Dak. You know why? He's a prolific passer.
What?
His entire time since he's been the starting quarterback in this league, he's been a prolific passer. Jalen's never been a prolific passer.
It's crazy that an Eagle content
nor will he
creator
ever be.
is praising Dak Prescott
So
while
who
we
do you
trash
think,
him.
again, will have a bigger market? Kirk Cousins just got $48 million. $48 million.
48 million. Kirk
Could he fit
Cousins.
in Miami?
Actually, I thought it was
Can you
45.
imagine Dak? I'd rather have Dak.
He'd rather have Dak
Dak
than
throws the ball
Tua.
better. Dak's a better passer.
I wonder what Ultra Cowboy thought about him saying that.
Hey, he's a better passer. To be fair, Jalen's 2 worst years were Nick's offense. Hey, Mad Bird. Well, again, it goes back to, you're right. Hurts is a little bit young in the league still. We go with a veteran guy. Just release Tay Hayes for weed use.
All right, so I'll stop right there. But Dan Saleo, here's why people, Eagle fans, don't necessarily like Dan is because Dan speaks what's on his mind. He's not going to sugarcoat it and tell you what you want to hear. And they want to hear everybody say everything is hunky-dory, everything is wonderful, everything is great. But he's kind of letting you know, Dak ain't that bad. He's got Dak as his 5th best quarterback in the NFL. Jalen Hurts, 15 or 16. That's on point, Dan. So, yeah, I've got that ammunition to go back at him with next week. Johnny Duncan Sr. Facts. Johnny, you got your plaque today, right? I hope you got the autograph plaque. Eagles fans don't like that at all. No, they don't. Between him saying that and me going on there, they're like that jackass that was on Brian's show yesterday, which was kind of crazy. That's not true, Mark. Stop saying that. Stop saying. Wait a minute. What's not true? Bird section. What that y'all don't like? Well, you watch them. You watch them. You may not like it, but you watch them. He went back and got MP Jr. to make up for it. Mark Holmes, you need to introduce my nephew, the quarterback, and O-line at Trent. You need to introduce my nephew to the quarterback and the O-line at training camp in Oxnard. Okay, CJ. CJ, email me and let me know when y'all are going to be there and stuff. What has Dak won in 8 years? So, Scott, let me go back to this again. Scott, if we are saying that Jerry Jones is doing what he did with Parcells, where Parcells has literally got to say, if I'm going to cook the meal, let me pick the groceries. Right? Where we've all gone through, because I don't know if you've ever taken the tour at AT&T. It changes up. The bird section, it's me, Leo. I don't know about that, Leo. If that's you or not. If it's Leo, what did I do to you yesterday that was dirty? Okay, that sounded bad. Okay, that sounded bad. Put it in the comments exactly what it was that you didn't like. Okay, if it's Leo, let's see it. No cap back then. Okay, no, I'm going back to this thing. If the Cowboys are ranked 16th in the NFL by some of these guys, if Dak Prescott is listed as not being one of the top quarterbacks here, that we guys like Trevor Lawrence deserve to be paid, that we're starting a couple of rookie offensive linemen and they stink, that our defensive linemen's got a bust on it, and that Jerry Jones is not doing anything in free agency to help. How are we a disappointment? See, disappointment. Here's what disappointment is. Actually, let me get the definition. Disappointment definition. Sadness or displeasure caused by the non-fulfillment of one's hope, dreams, or expectations. To her disappointment, there was no chance to talk privately with Luke. So if we're not expected to do anything, how can we be disappointed because we didn't have a chance according to everybody out there? We're dysfunctional. If you say we're not going all in and bringing in players to help us win, a la what the Rams did with Von Miller and Odell Beckham Jr. and making trades for Jalen Ramsey and doing all of these things, right? That would be, disappointment. Disappointment would be the Eagles going out there last year being Super Bowl favorites, having gotten Kevin Byards and everything else, and trying to bring in Shaq Leonard along with after the trade for, A.J. Brown, the best offensive line, Jalen Hurts, his MVP type season, as they put it, the tush push. Those were having expectations of a Super Bowl to crash and burn going down the stretch. That's disappointment. You were expected to do something. Who this time last year expected the Cowboys to be in the Super Bowl? That was sane. Peace out. Go Cowboys. Screw Dak and McCarthy. We need to get these scrubs out of here. Well, Ghostface Gaming, thank you very much. We appreciate your comments. Have a nice day on the way out the door. Okay? Peace out. Have a nice night. 20 bucks and 21 Rams had legit teams and had a great chance to win a Super Bowl. Cowboys don't. Thank you. Real fan won. And they decided we're going to go out and get things. As much as I say I hate the Eagles, I have to respect them for when they end up seeing we have a need, we're going to say, damn the torpedoes, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get somebody in here to try and help us win right now. We don't do that. And if you honestly ask me, from what I'd heard many years ago, that Jerry Jones had some health scares, and that they were looking at the situation of the passing everything down, and that Stephen Jones started taking care more and more of the things with the Cowboys. That Jerry Jones, he still has the final say, but Stephen Jones is the guy who's really running it. And Stephen Jones literally has said, when Jerry's gone, we'll probably be taking less risk than Jerry would. And I'm like, we ain't taking no risk anymore. That is Stephen Jones's way. Like it or not, he's not going to do jack. He's not going to do jack. We're going to do the value picks, okay? I can't understand people that have tons and tons of money but are so damn frugal. But then again, maybe that's how they got there. They're going to make prudent, inexpensive moves like bringing in linebacker Willie Harvey. And here's a little taste of Willie, who was on 105 The Fan, just to get a little taste of him.
Teams coach, and it was just an easy decision.
Give us kind of a layman's education on this defense. What type of scheme and system are we looking at here with Coach Zimmer?
Basically, it's like a linebacker-driven defense, keeping the linebackers free, letting them be athletes and make plays. The Eric Kendricks of the world, I mean, they got a lot of good guys, and they let them thrive, and that's something I want to be a part of.
So linebacker is one of these positions that Choppy and others tried to fade out. The running backs of defense, and now with the Fred Warners of the world, you still got Bobby Wagner hanging around. We've had issues stopping the run around here for a while. It feels like the emphasis on linebacker is back in Dallas. What do you think of the whole linebackers don't matter as much discussion? Why is that crazy?
It's crazy until you take them out of the game, and bad things start to happen. We're a very grimy, hard-nosed group of guys who really don't get the respect we deserve. We play all special teams. We command a whole entire defense, and I think that's important. When you take us out of the picture, it can get a little cloudy. So
would you say the defense this year is like going to be more of a pressure D or a coverage type?
Just from me being in a similar system, I would think it would be more a pressure defense. But I'm pretty sure it'll be a little bit of both. Mm-hmm.
Who are your linebacker idols?
I'm biased. I like Patrick Willis. I always grew up watching Patrick Willis. Ray Lewis, the Luke Kuechly's of the world. I like Fred Warner and those guys in San Fran, Greenlaw. But yeah, I would say Ray Lewis, Patrick Willis are my guys.
When you had started out, you were undrafted out of Iowa State. You ended up in Cleveland, special teams contributor there, somebody that was in the linebacker rotation, spent a couple years there. When things ended in Cleveland and you ended up with St. Louis in the UFL this past year and in the USFL previously, was there a moment where you thought, like, I don't know that I'm going to get back to that point? Was there any discouragement at any time where you said, like, what is my future in this league again? Did you think you were going to get this opportunity again?
I knew, I'm honest with myself. I knew I probably didn't work as hard as I should have and put in the work. So, getting a second chance in the spring league, I was like, hey, I got another chance to, perfect my craft and be a better linebacker, get smarter, get faster, get stronger. And that's kind of what I did my first year, and I felt like it wasn't enough. So I came back again and did it again, and I got the opportunity. So,
what were your hot spots in Cleveland?
My hot spots.
A night out. We flew into
all right, we can leave it right there. But the reason why I wanted to play that is he recognizes that he coasted, that he didn't put in the work to be able to be there on, and the NFL, to be able to have staying power in the NFL and to be great. And that's the thing that's kind of crazy. I had such a great time talking with Tom Beebe last night. And, talking to him and asking him about if he ever thought, there were any aspirations or thoughts that his kids would end up playing in the NFL. And he's like, you got to think about it. He's like, there's about 1,700 players in a season in the NFL. And when you think about all of the colleges and all of the players that are there, your chances of even getting there or getting the opportunity are so slim. And so if you're a player that gets there, there's always somebody ready to take your spot. And you have to stay hungry to play on an elite level. Mark Scott, I don't know you got total team around. He doesn't, and before him, Tony Romo didn't either. That jersey, that's Jerry Jones' fault. Tony Romo's a better quarterback, too, and injury prone. You know, my thought is, and you know, people can say Dak's a choker and things like that, that Romo's a choker and things. But I'm going to say they're good enough to win if you have a team around them. There's a lot of quarterbacks that you look at and say they weren't a great quarterback. Let me be clear. This is no disrespect to Eagle fans, okay? But do you look and say Nick Foles was an elite quarterback? Was it Nick Foles the reason that you won that Super Bowl, or was it the whole team played well? Seriously. 36 year for a slot receiver. Well, Kid Cowboy. Here's the thing, man. I know how much of a hater you are and everything else. But, you know, things cost more as time goes on. I'm old enough to remember when Derek Carr was the highest paid, I believe, at $23 or $24 million a year. And people saying, how the hell you paying Derek Carr 23 or 24 million? And then Jimmy G, after 5 or 6 games basically starting for New England, became the highest paid. Jimmy G. And people are like, how are you going to pay Jimmy? Jimmy G doesn't deserve more money than Tom Brady, you know, or Drew Brees, right? And then Kirk Cousins got the first fully guaranteed contract at $28 million. And people are like, oh, my God, this is crazy. You can't pay Kirk Cousins that kind of money. Remember when Dak signed his $40 million a year deal and everybody went off? Oh, my God, how can – dudes, guess what? That $36 million that you're going to pay, if you have to CeeDee Lamb, bro, 2 years from now, it's going to be $45 million. You're going to look back and say, damn, that was actually a good deal. I remember when Tyron Smith signed his $96 million deal. How the hell are you going to pay an offensive lineman that kind of money? And because it was a long contract, you look back and said, damn, that was actually a pretty good contract. The Cowboys made out on that. Y'all are sitting here having this fit like you ain't going to be able to feed your kids because the Cowboys are going to pay Dak and CD and Micah Parsons. Prices are going down. Well, the gas price is going down here, but not in a big hit. But see, guess what? Bro, Kid Cowboy, number 66, they're not going down in the NFL. They're not going down in the NFL because guess what, bro? If you want to see your Christmas games, you better have Netflix. You better have Netflix subscription, okay? Because if you don't, you're not watching games on Christmas. And guess what? That's more money for the NFL. Oh, you don't have Paramount TV? Then you're not going to be watching playoff games then because they're playoff games on that. And if you don't think that HBO and Showtime aren't going to have some footballs at some point, you're crazy because the prices are going up. When I think it's Carolina is spending $650 million on stadium upgrades, do you think that the price is going to go down at the stadium for tickets? I don't think so. those prices are going up. And as those prices go up, as they fleece us, turn us upside down, shake every nickel out of our pocket, that means it's more money for the owners and more money on the salary cap. Which means the player salaries will continue to rise. Yeah. And for those out there that say, well, they say it's only going to go up $6 million, next year. Well, they thought it was only going to go up like $18 million this year, and it ends up being double that. So projections, nobody knows. Realistically, you can't reset the market on 3 different positions. One of them isn't coming back. Drums and Cowboys, that's where you're actually wrong, bro. Because they don't have – here's what you don't seem to understand. The difference of Dak, it's all how you structure it. And at this point, he'll be highest paid for like 5 minutes. CD, here's the thing, bro. Let me give you this. Let me pull this. This is the misnomer that you all have, okay? This right here, I want you to take a look at this. Now, Justin Jefferson, highest non-quarterback contract in the history of the NFL. Contract value, $140 million, fully guaranteed, $88 million. Averages $35 million a year, bro. $35 million a year. That's insane. And you're sitting there saying, well, you can't reset the market. Well, you can actually make this $35.1 million. Just add, an extra $100,000 each year on his contract. Do you see what the cap number is there, bro? For this year? They both came out the same year. He has no more time on his contract than CD. CD actually has a higher, would have been higher this year on the 5th-year option because he was drafted earlier. You see his cap number? $8.6 million. He created $9 million for his team in cap space getting this deal done. And I know, that's just the first year. Bro, you see the second year? You see the second year, right? Because see, what your perception is, he's got $35 million a year. That's not necessarily how it's accounted, bro. Because the guaranteed money, the voidable years, you have ways you can deal with this, right? He's only $15 million the second year. CD right now is almost $18 million for the 1 year. So if you look at this, you could pay $18 million for 1 year of CD, or you could pay $23 million for 2 years. It doesn't get real expensive until 2026 at $38 million. And after that season, you could say, I'm going to take the cap hit of $14 million and walk away. So, where's the problem here? And the way, and maybe my numbers are wrong here, okay? But think for a second here. You could pay CD $18 million this year, right? That's $18 million is right here, right? Or I get a new contract and his cap number is 8.5. So that means I'm reducing $9 million of this money here, right? So that means I got $9 million extra. $9 million extra. Well, let's say we just applied that $9 million. We didn't use it on any other players. Let's just say hypothetically, you subtract $9 million from the 15 that he actually has as the cap number, right? What you're really talking about is $6 million. The difference, $6 million. You were going to pay 18 regardless. You're going to pay 18 regardless. For another $6 million, you have them for 2 years. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, all right, let's do another one here. Trevor Lawrence contract. Look at this one, okay? Now, understand, Trevor Lawrence is a little bit different because he still had time left on his contract, okay? He still had 2 years to go on it. So, basically, when you look at 24 and 25, basically, those would have been about the numbers, closer to the numbers that he would have already had, being that he was the number one pick and so on. The 2025, 2025, the 5th-year option would have been probably about $5 million more, but roughly you get an idea. So the new money doesn't really take effect until 26. So hypothetically, since Dak Prescott doesn't have any more years, you can look at 26 and say that's really the first year of the new money. Do you see what the cap hit is there? It's $24 million. See the cap hit in 27? That would be like the second year of Dak's contract. That's 35. You see the third year right there, that would be at Dak's. That's 47. It doesn't balloon up to the 78, much the same way Dak Prescott's did with this other one. We keep looking at this saying, Dak Prescott, $55 million, that's ridiculous. But we don't remember that the first year of that contract was 17, 19, 26, and the balloon payment at 55. It's kind of like, I don't know if any of you, they used to do these. And they stopped doing this because the real estate market crashed. But they used to have low payments early on and buy interest-only loans for like 3 years, okay? So that way you could qualify for the loans. But then after 3 years or so, or however long, they would have what are called balloon payments. And that's when all of a sudden you might have had your loan for $900 a month for the first 3 years, and then you got to make that shit up on the backside, and now your payment's gone up to $2,000. You really saved over there. And if you had taken care of business, it would be okay to take care of that balloon payment. But if you were still spending all the other money and everything else and not thinking about that rainy day, that's how you get into the situation the Cowboys are in. It was a balloon payment. He definitely is Allen, no doubt about it. We have two nice quarterbacks right now. It remains to be seen, kid Cowboy number 66, on whether Trey Lance is nice yet or not. Some people are saying he's still got a long ways to go. Dak would have gotten paid during free agency if Jerry wanted him back. Jerry and Steven have said El Paso to Dak. Really, Clouds? You could have said the same thing about that after his first 4 years when they franchise tagged him, where they tried the second time. Clouds, you want to put some money on that one about Dak coming back? And it may be, we may never know, it may be that Dak decides, I'm done with you assholes. He might just say, you know what? The kid Cowboys out there, the Clouds Coffee, and, all these people that literally, I literally break my ankle off and work my way back, become an MVP candidate. I literally break my thumb in 3 places, get a pin put in there, come back early, and do all that. Literally have put the team on my back, because without me, we've seen what happens to the Cowboys, a la 6-10, with Andy Dalton, that we were told there's no drop-off, right? I'm believing that's what I think I saw with my own eyes, that maybe I'll go someplace where if it's you, Leo, email me then, bro. How about that one? Because I know there are plenty of guys out there that are pretending to be other ones. So I don't see Leo changing his name there, bro. If you're Leo, email me and tell me that. Long as Dak is our quarterback, we good. Just need more starving dogs on the D-line, and we're not soft at linebacker play. I'm with you on that one, CJ. And see, that's my whole thing here is Mark knows it, listens to him. Brad Wright, you're wrong. My whole thing is I'm sitting here hearing about all the doubts of Jalen Hurts, but I can say that they've done everything possible to try and make him successful. I can't say that the Dallas Cowboys have done that with Dak. Mark, I want to win. The Cowboys were on a roll going to the playoffs in a Dak-led Cowboys team. I'm glad you put that a Dak-led Cowboys team choked, because he wasn't the only one, bro. You can get rid of Dak. You won't have the playoffs to go with it. How about that one? Eagles live rent-free. Okay, whatever you say. It is game time? That's his name? Okay, all right. So if game time deems it Leo, I still say email me, because I still don't believe it. I get so many fakes and trolls and haters and everything else. I don't know who anybody is anymore. So if it's really you, bro, Dak's going to retire a Cowboy. Lady Libra, I think I'm more on your side on that one. One thing, Dak isn't playing for Dallas after the season. With Dak, he can't win in the postseason ever. Well, that's actually wrong, Mark Scott, because he won against Seattle, which was Russell Wilson when Russell Wilson was really good. Who was the other one we won? Oh, Tampa Bay against Tom Brady. That's another win there. I could say we could have won against Green Bay his rookie year if the defense could have held him for 53 seconds. Oh, it's his business account. Gotcha. Dallas will win 10 games this year, period. Prescott do the dumbest win, period. Cooper doesn't win those games. 4 games, get the wild card win against Tampa. I'll agree with you on that one, but here's the thing, Kid Cowboy. Do you look at that and say that we won those games because of Cooper Rush or because of the way the defense played? Because last I checked, the defense basically held everybody under 20 points in those 4 games. And I remember how he played against the Eagles with 3 turnovers. Say what? If my defense holds a team under 20 points and we're still losing, then it's the quarterback's fault. It's definitely the quarterback's fault. $79, 45-year-old Brady. Okay, Dwayne. A win is a win. He doesn't get there. They said the same thing about Peyton Manning. Yeah, Peyton Manning, exactly. And Peyton Manning, actually, his stats weren't quite that good in comparison. Tampa didn't have a winning record. I knew San Francisco was going to smoke us the next round. He doesn't get there. Well, you're free to believe what you want to believe, bro. And I'm going to believe what I want to believe, and we'll leave it at that. One final thing here as we get ready to get out of here. The haters are having a ball tonight. My point being is, I don't care how good your quarterback is. You can't tell me that Aaron Rodgers hasn't played incredible throughout most of his career. But he's only won 1 Super Bowl. And that's when his defense was the 3rd best defense in football. And he only threw 29 TDs and 11 interceptions. That doesn't show you that it's a team sport, then I don't know what does. But I find this clip right here kind of funny. Check out the kids.
Which one? Hey guys. Delete that from your.
That's kind of cold, but the kids definitely got him. Cooper Rush wild card win. Okay, Kid Cowboy, keep hating, bro. You may want to figure out going to another team. That's all I'm going to say to you. All right, good people. Check out the video I did with Tom Beebe. Interviewed him last night. Get a little bit of insight on his son and stuff. I thought it was really kind of cool getting to meet him. Hopefully, we'll be seeing him actually at training camp. Wow, can you believe we're exactly a month away from training camp? But definitely check it out. You'll get a little insight on the Cooper and his brothers. He's got a whole family of offensive linemen, and definitely is going to be a big positive for the Cowboys. Good night, good people, and I appreciate you. Peace out.
The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts